summon the nuts. Toxic Avenger, released this past weekend, finally in 2025, and is directed by Macon Blair, who's also behind such films like I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, and the upcoming film known as The Shitheads. And this film is starring Peter Dinklage, Jacob Tremblay, Taylor Page, Julia Davis, Johnny Coyen, Elijah Wood, and Kevin Bacon. Winston is a janitor for an evil corporation known for dumping a bunch of toxic chemicals into the surrounding environment. But when Winston gets the bad news of a terrible tumor growing in his brain that is inoperable, he goes to the owner of the company, Bob Garbinger, to ask if he would take care of his medical expenses. Well, after being laughed out of the building, Winston tries to steal directly from the company, but is caught, beaten up, and thrown into a vat of toxic chemicals as punishment. Well, these chemicals have a gruesome side effect, morphing the corpse of Winston into the hero we will all know and love, known as the Toxic Avenger. So the Toxic Avenger shows up and at first doesn't know what to do, but then realizes, well, with great power and cliche stuff like that, and when there is a hostage situation at a local restaurant, he decides to intervene and basically give everyone a free colonoscopy, and everyone starts cheering for him, and he is Tromaville's new superhero. So this film was originally set to be released in 2023. It made its way around the independent film festival circuit, and from what everyone was saying at the time, everyone was pretty much loving this thing. They weren't saying like it was the greatest film ever made, but it's definitely watchable. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's very entertaining, and it's a way to take the 1984 film that is just this indie classic, just gore fest of a movie that was quite entertaining if you were under the influence of certain hallucinogenics. This one, while it still has a lot of those campy, fun, just people having fun making movies and doing all this bloody, gory shit, it actually makes the source material believable and gives a seriousness to it. And I don't want you to think that this film is just all serious and all dramatic. It has those moments, but it just provides what the 1984 film was missing. It just provides stakes. It provides a tangibility to, hey, this could actually happen. And because it could actually happen, I'm more invested in this one, whereas the previous one, that was just a bunch of people who were like, hey, do you want to be in my movie that I'm filming? And they were like, yeah, I'm not a professional, but I'll show up and do whatever you want and say the most ridiculous things that you could possibly air. We don't get that here. We get serious drama. We get serious moments in here. This is the unrated version, so the rating of this movie does say that there is piss play in this movie. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not into that. But it's a superhero movie. I have to go see it. It's my favorite genre. I do a ranking of all the superhero films that come out at the end of every single year. I'm going to have to see this. I don't want to see anyone pissing. If that is a turnoff for any of you out there, please know that this is the Toxic Avenger pissing in the movie. And he's radioactive, so he pisses in order to, like, deteriorate certain materials that may be chaining him or his friends up. So it's not those weird fetishes that you see in weird corners on the internet. There is a purpose behind it. The main thing I'll say here, though, is that I had a lot of fun. My theater that I went to, now I know this is not good for the movie or the movie theater, but I was the only one in the showing and in the theater at the time. For me personally, it's the best movie-going experience ever. When you have an entire theater all to yourself, you can be as loud, you can chomp popcorn all you fucking want. It's not good for business, but it's great for me as entertainment. But I had so much fun watching this film. And I love all the subtle callbacks that they have to the original film, really the entire original film series. You hear the theme occasionally throughout the movie. There are things in the background, like there's a skeleton of a mermaid, which I believe like a mermaid man shows up in Toxic Avenger 2 or 3 or something like that. There are so many subtle little hints and little nuggets of trivia and nostalgia for any of you that grew up on the Toxic Avenger. I didn't. I just watched all of the films this past week and a half, so it's all fresh in my brain. But I think Peter Dinklage provides a lot of gravitas to this, what was a ridiculous role back in the 80s. He provides a lot of gravitas and a lot of seriousness and a lot of clout to this character. They switch up his character a little bit. His girlfriend died and she left behind her kid. They weren't even married, but he took the kid in, so he's trying to get this kid to call him dad, or at least acknowledges him as his father. And Jacob Tremblay, of course, is the kid. He's great as well. Or maybe it's just been a while that I've seen great acting performances, because like I said, I watched all the Toxic Avenger films last week, so an acting performance I didn't really get. So maybe they were just providing mid-performances here, but for me, just not seeing a great one in a while, this was tremendous. Kevin Bacon plays the swarmy businessman owning this toxic company, just clearly dumping toxic sludge into the water, into the environment. He's great. And Elijah Wood, who's doing his best impersonation of Oswald Cobblepot from Batman Returns, and also a mixture of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. He's like, I want to be the Penguin, but could we throw in a little bit of Gollum in there too? Just, you know, for all the Lord of the Rings fans out there. He was fantastic. He was probably my favorite part. It's one of the biggest laughs I've ever given in a theater when he calls the henchmen on his phone, who are called the Killer Nuts. They're a band in this movie. He just calls up his phone and says, summon the nuts! It's the best moment of the movie, by far. I think this film toes the line between serious and slapsticky, comedic indie superhero film. We have moments where we think that there is great tragedy and great sacrifice that happen here, but we also have ridiculous moments, like when the Toxic Avenger first emerges. There's this puppet bird who's also been burned by toxic sludge over the years, and it's just this little puppet. He looks at the Toxic Avenger and they just yell at each other, and this bird shows up multiple times throughout the movie, just provide like little transition to the next act that we go into, and he's like shaking like a little Muppet. It's great. I get drama, I get seriousness, I also get silliness that is just needed in something like this to relieve the tension and just to give the audience a great time. Me, being the only one in the theater, I'm considering myself the audience. But the Toxic Avenger, I'm so glad it finally got released. It definitely didn't need to take 2 years for it to find a major studio. This should have come out in 2023. I don't know where this talk of this film being unwatchable came from, because it's a legit origin story, and it's a really good origin story. It's way better than the majority of superhero films that we've gotten over the last 2 years at least. Sorry, if Madam Web, Venom 3, Craven, all of the Sony Spider-Man movies, if they could be produced and shown in theaters, I mean, this could have easily been shown in theaters at the time, because this one is actually quite fucking good. The Toxic Avenger, hopefully it gets an audience, and if it gets an audience, maybe we'll get some sequels. If you stick through the credits, it does tell you, hey, we have all these sequels planned if we make $1 billion box office, so Bitcoin only. Start paying up, people. I'm gonna give the Toxic Avenger 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, if you've seen the new Toxic Avenger movie, what did you think about it? If you've watched all of them, what is your ranking of all of the Toxic Avenger films? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.